chill.
Draft Daddies, there's only one podfather coming to you today, and that is me, your assistant commissioner. For those of you that may not be aware of why I refer to myself as the ass, and today our guest is, the reason I preface all of that is because today our guest he's not unfamiliar with the league and he's not unfamiliar with fantasy football, but he is committed to doing a podcast with me, which nobody else in this league is willing to do right now. And that is Mr. Jake Revere, Sir Jake and Bake, Sir Fantasy Football Guru. How are you doing, sir?
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you, Blake. I am honored to be here and to be on this wonderful, glorious podcast so early in this season.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm being called up for the first time in the big leagues.
You tell me, sir, before we get into some matchups, you tell me, what are your thoughts? I know you and I are in two other leagues together. I think you're doing okay. I think we're both sitting, it's only been 2 weeks. We're going into week 3. As we were just chatting a little bit before the pod, it is we were saying like week 4, like, you don't really have a good feeling about any fantasy team or any just the NFL until about week 4 or 5. It takes at least 3 weeks to get the rust off. But early impressions on fantasy across the board and NFL, what do you got?
Yeah, I think the best way I could summarize my impression of fantasy and this season is that this is the year of the turf toe, where like you know that it impacts a team, a season, but you really don't know what it is until you actually look at it, and then you're like, oh crap, that's significant. So yeah, basically a lot of unknowns still, and yet some familiar, I don't know, Twilight Zone type situations with like Buffalo doing really well in the beginning of the season, which you would expect they're going to falter later on, and all sorts of other injuries and whatnot. So yeah, the impressions are overall good.
0-2, and on the flip side, but one shocker was probably the 0-2 Chiefs. And I don't think once you get outside of the Kansas City area, I don't think anybody's too upset about that either. Totally agree with you on that. I feel like there have been a few players that have had, but we have not had a whole lot of like big consistency or like huge numbers yet. Like, I feel like nobody has risen to the top and is like a clear like number one in any position. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's kind of my impression.
No, I 100% agree. I think I would love to see a breakdown of projected stats versus actual as like the season progresses.
Yeah, projected versus performance versus
yeah.
That's out there. That's on fantasy. It's somewhere out there. Somebody has it, but. Me and you, it's 4:30 on a Friday, and we're going to be done by 5, so we're not going to spend any time going into that right now.
Yeah.
That all being said, we're going to get into some matchups here. For one last bit of context, Jacob Paul Revere, a descendant of the Paul Revere, he is my brother-in-law. He married my sister, and now is my brother from another mother. You have 3 wonderful kids at home. You don't necessarily have a fandom, do you? Do you have a singular fandom? You were a season ticket holder for the Colts for a while, but you're not anymore.
Not anymore. I would call myself a chameleon of different teams, but more so a fan of players. So I grew up a Denver Broncos fan because I was a huge fan of Elway, and then Terrell Davis was my favorite running back.
You're really aging yourself.
I am. I was actually going to give a reference of Chiefs sound very similar to the New England Patriots of old.
But that I think everybody in this league is. We have a few that are closer to your age, but yeah, in that same time frame. But you don't hate the Bears, you don't, but kind of Colts, kind of. But what is incredible, and we were season ticket holders to the Chicago Cubs with Brandon Magner, who is in this league. So big Cubs definitely. And then you have your son, who we've talked about this before, but he has only gotten stronger because it's been, again, 2 years. I thought it was a phase. It's not. He is a full-blown Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
And he chose one heck of a time to become a Cowboys fan. At least you can tell he's not bandwagoning.
He is All-American, all the Dallas Star. Yeah, it's not going away, not fading away. We've tried different tactics too, right? Like direct tactic of like, all right, hey kid, you're stupid. Like here's the Bears, here's the Colts, cheer for them, right?
Yep.
To other like subliminal, right? So we got him some Bears gear. We got him we promoted a Colts game. Hey, do you want to go to a game?
Yeah. And he's like, are they playing the Cowboys? I mean, and nobody in your family or my family, nobody's Cowboys. We're all Bears fans. You have a smattering. You have, Broncos, Giants, right? Or
Yep.
Jets?
Giants. We've
Even
got the
Commanders a little bit?
Buccaneers.
Yep. Yeah. So, like, you have a smattering, but, like, one and only, and of all teams to choose that one. And then just throwing this out there as well, what is the final, just as the uncle, just dagger in the heart, is that he's also is very, very adamant that he is a Dodgers fan. So it's really, and I've said this before to you, I don't think it's a parenting thing. I know that I've seen you put in all the effort, and honestly, at this point, it is out of your hands. You did all the right things. You did the subliminal. You did the direct. You said, I think you at one point, even the whole reason I bring this up, he's in our other league, might be one of the youngest active fantasy, and he's not bad. We have him, but he's been in our league for 2 years. So all that being said, that should build your ethos, Jake, to everybody else here that right. We're going to dive into our matchups here. So our first one here, we have the Victorville Villains versus Team Keegs. Team Keegs has won our championship 2 times, and he was headed up by Josh Allen in previous years. This year, he went a different route, and he had the first overall pick and took Jamar Chase and could not get Josh Allen, did not make it back to him. So, yeah, we have Vic and Team Keegs here. What would have typically been, and Vic also has, he won a championship with Lamar and had Lamar all last year and got pretty far, had a pretty successful year. So we would have our typical quarterback versus quarterback, but now we've got Lamar and Jaden Daniels facing off here in this one. Jake, what do you think about these two teams? Who you giving us way to?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. Can you scroll down, Blake? I'm curious where the projected stats, and then also who's the backup here. I don't have Jaden in any of my leagues, and I haven't really paid attention, but is he injured?
Yeah, he is injured. He picked up Jake Browning, so I assume he'll be in the starting.
Okay.
So add 16 points to it.
Okay. Yeah, so, obviously with Jaden being injured, like, that's going to impact Keegs here. So, I mean, I feel like this is a pretty easy, no-brainer off toss. We've got to go with the first team. I forget who it was.
Victorville. Yep.
Victorville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me explain a little bit more with Victorville. Yeah. I think AJ Brown is due for a big game. He has been putting up dubs. Or zeros.
Duds, not dubs.
Duds, yes. And, I think with Waddle putting some good stats up, I'm not a fan of Hunter Henry this year.
Yeah, it's kind of a miss on him this week. We are recording this on Friday, so the Thursday game has happened. So a little bit of bias in this, but he missed out on Shakir being in his lineup too, which could I mean, I guess that could have maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, I'm with you on the Hunter Henry in the tight end spot. But arguably, is Dallas Goedert going to do any better for you? I think that's a weak spot in this team.
Yeah, definitely a low draft pick, probably that he was reaching for some tight end and he had to go for whoever he had. But having Lamar, Connor, Brown, and Waddle definitely set him up pretty good. The other team here, Zay Flowers, Chase, obviously going to be great at this point in the game.
But Jake Browning, I mean, we don't have Joe Burrow anymore. So we lost that connection.
Yeah.
I think that, in my opinion, it's got to lower Jamar's value.
Yeah, that is a really good point. And another indication of why this kind of sucks that Jaden's out for Keegs.
Yep.
Tough on you. What's his record so far?
0-2 versus 0-2 for Keegs and 1-1 for Victorville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keegs is not looking good this
looking
year.
For 0-3, but Keegan, he had to work. So it sounds like you're going Victorville on this one, as I am too.
Victorville definitely is going to win here on this one. Keegs, I think that now might be the time to start considering some trades and trying to sweeten up next year.
Yeah. Yep, he's definitely missing Josh Allen right now, and both Aaron and Seb also are taking Victorville on this one. So, all right, our next matchup is Lutz Deep and Sir Cox-a-Lot You put these two together and you got yourself some full-on male genitalia, folks. I'm super curious about your thoughts on this one, and I'm going to throw it back to you on this one right away because you are an Indy fan. Tell me about Daniel Jones and that Indianapolis offense this year.
And Daniel Jones, if he continues to produce some numbers, will be really exciting to see the impact that has on the Colts organization. Because, I mean, he's a little bit more tenured as a quarterback, but like I feel like he has a lot of life left in him. So, you know, throw in all the references of Indiana Jones, you know, the Crusaders, like all the junk there. Irsay. I had a opportunity to golf at Irsay's course up in Culver, Indiana.
Yeah.
I ended up having to turn it down, but yeah, pretty sweet.
That was pretty anticlimactic, but okay.
Yeah, I know. But that was the only Irsay reference I had here. Yeah, I mean, man, this one is a tough one, but also interesting that projected points are a lot less than what I would have anticipated. Just because here, can you actually zoom back out at that 125? Sorry, Blake. There we go. Because I'm curious what their records were. It was 2-0 and 1-1.
2-0 for Sir Cox-a-Lot and 0-2 for Jackson. Let's Deep. Yeah.
See, I would have thought Let's Deep would have strung together some good games. I mean, with this group. Yeah,
with this group, you would think so. Yeah. I think he is hurting, and my only question in this is McMillan playing in there, and where's he been at over the last couple of weeks? Let's see.
Oh no, that's projected. 11 receptions, 170 yards. Okay.
Where's the previous week? Oh, here we are. Yeah. So he has touchdowns. Yeah. Down here, I guess, with Carolina, he's putting up big points. Interesting how DJ Moore has been pushed out of his starting lineup. I don't think it's a bad call whatsoever, but I don't dislike Jackson's team here. I really don't. Like, even when you look deeper into his bench, Kyler Murray as his backup QB, he's benching DJ Moore. He's got Nick Chubb. He's got, I guess, Brilliant Allen is hit or miss, but like he's got depth. And at the same time, you look at Sir Cox-a-Lot. Justin Herbert has been just insane. I'm thankful that I have him in our one of our leagues because he is just like, and against Denver, I don't see him getting shut down yet. And Jonathan Taylor, I mean, continuing to see like high utilization against Tennessee, like if you're going to score points. So this is going to be a closer matchup than I think initially I thought.
I would agree. I mean, I think my overall pick is Sir Cox-a-Lot. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to take the W here, but mostly just because of the week that this fell on. When you look at some of the matchups, I feel like all these opponents and defenses that they're going to go against are going to be giving up a lot more points.
Yes. Yeah, Kirby. Sorry, because Kirby, all of his opponents as a whole, he's got Denver, Tennessee, the Jets, Vegas, New England, New Orleans, and Denver. I mean, he is set up for a potentially huge week. Now, that being said, go ahead.
The one thing I will say, though, is he's got a lot more eggs in the basket with the Chargers. Is he a Chargers fan? Is that why he's got
No, he's actually a Vikings fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, whoever you are, Sir Cox-a-Lot, but yeah, Vikings fan and for getting all on board with the Chargers, but it's working for him, right? I mean, he's 2-0, so
it's working
for him. Gig.
Yep. That all being said, so you're going Sir Cox-a-Lot. Seb is also going with Sir Cox-a-Lot, and Aaron is going for the upset for the Let's Deep here. And I am going to roll with that as well. I think that Jack's going to get his W this week. I think that it's going to be a high-scoring affair on both parts, but I think Daniel Jones has proven himself in the air, and I think that the Colts at Tennessee, like there's a little bit of a rivalry. There is a rivalry there, right? Yeah. And I see Daniel Jones showing up this weekend.
Yep.
2 for Lutz and 2 for Cox. All right, the penis game is a split decision, just like we like it. All right, this next one, we've got the Bald Bison at 0-2, which is Matt Kreutzer. Don't think you're familiar with him. You do know Mr. Aaron Zitch, though. You have met him. Lights, Kamara, Ashton. Now, we have a huge advantage at this one. So because he has put up some points because of James Cook already, Bison. So be curious. It's still the projection points wise leads over to Lights Kamara Ashton. And that is by a 5-point swing, even with Dalton Kincaid, a tight end, pulling up 15 points, and then James Cook putting up 4 points over his projection. Justin Jefferson, I think, is probably the biggest question mark on both of these, anywhere on these two lineups, mainly because of JJ being out, McCarthy being out. And is Devontae Adams ever going to continue, or is he going to be productive, especially against Philly? Philly's defense has not been as great as you would expect this year. And then the last one I'd call out here is Hollywood Brown for the Bison. A little Hollywood Brown action against the Giants. You would normally expect this to be a show-up game, but the way that the Chiefs have been playing, and conversely the Giants, this actually might be a little bit closer than it seems.
Would agree. Yeah. I mean, Lights Kamara Ashton, love the name. Firstly, I think you've got both of those players to be able to make that name. So number one, kudos, Aaron. I commend you for that. I think I'm going to have to give it to the Bald Bison though, and here's the reason why. Aaron's got Mahomes, and I would venture to say that Brown is due for a week 1 showing again. I think last week was a fluke just with the Eagles. You had all the anticipation and the hype in that game, and with them playing against the Giants, I'm expecting the Chiefs to kind of turn around and kick it up a notch with their offense. There are some flags with Bison, just with Pollard. I've not been a fan of him ever since he left, Dallas. But then also with Jefferson and Adams, and there's some potentials there of it being a bust. But I'm putting my eggs in Bison's basket and going to be picking them.
Yeah, I'm a little bit split decision on this one, but I think the question for I think there's a possibility that Christian Kirk comes back this week. Maybe.
Really?
I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
He's set to play Sunday, and that's as of 30 minutes ago. So with Christian Kirk potentially coming back, I think that increases the CJ Stroud value and decreases the Nico Collins value. So that being said, I think that we see less production out of Nico Collins. They haven't been super powerful anyway. I think what would swing this in the way of Aaron would be Javonte Williams and Dallas having a good week against Chicago. I don't think that the Bears team that we've seen defensively in the last 2 games is what we will continue to see. I think this team is different and better than they've been playing. So I think that we actually shut down Dallas this week. Jackson can take that and eat it, and I'm going with Bald Bison for this one. Aaron is going with himself, but Seb is also sticking with the Bison.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like.
All right. Both these guys very well. We've got Mr. Glenn Shin at 1-1, and we've got Mr. Rice Krispie, also one of my favorite names. Would have been better if he had Rice, but nonetheless, both at 1-1. Chris he's been on the struggle bus in the beginning half of this year. I think coming out of draft day, he felt really good about his team. And now, between injuries and he also had, I guess Xavier is coming back this week, but he was battling. Yeah, he's been battling a lot. That being said, Glenn has put up one last week, lost his first week, I believe. And, but not a bad team, a little bit more than what we'd expect from Glenn. But I am just still struggled to see the value here on Chris's team. And right now he doesn't have an RB2. I mean, he's probably I'm going to assume he's going to go Kenny Gainwell in this, which he's been seeing equal shares as Jaylen Warren. And he's, if nothing else, it looks like he's going to be their receiving RB. Yeah. But does that, I mean, who are they playing this week? They've got New England. So maybe, but that being your RB2 and T. Higgins with Jake Browning. I just don't see enough star power here unless Jahmyr Gibbs has a hell of a game, and he's already projected for 16. But against Baltimore, I just don't see it happening. I'm going with the Rats on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn and Chris, love you both. I think I'm going to have to lean, though, maybe on the other side of what would be conventional here. And I think I'm going to go with Chris B. And here's the reason why I'm saying that. Brock Bowers, second year in the league, did not have a good performance last week, was struggling with an injury. I think he's probably still on the mends with that, but I'm hoping that he can kind of pull it together against Washington. That said, if Vegas ends up turning around, maybe Myers can also string together a touchdown or two. right? Or have like a large breakaway, 80-yard gain or something. Although I've not been a fan of Jacoby Myers since he was in New England. I mean, he's just been kind of a bust in the league. I wish Chris the best, but I don't think he's going to have a good season. What I do like here with Glenn, he's got a lot of depth. He has Love and Fields. Holy cow.
Yeah. He has Love and Fields benched, both of them. Fields is not relevant now. And then he's got Jared Goff too, who has been put up a bunch of points last week. I think so
again, I'm going with Chris B, but like there's every bone in my body is saying like projected and numbers wise, Glenn, I think you've got the easy win.
Well, you're not alone in that because our commissioner, Seb Baxter, he is also going with him. Aaron is going to be with me on this one and going with the Rats. My question here, though, for Glenn is the Cooper Cup utilization has not been what you would expect. Not even what you expect. JSN is still clearly WR1 there, and he's flexing him over maybe Ramondre Stevenson or... I mean, at this point, you could see Jerry Jeudy. Like, I don't like either move
one
there,
of those. Yeah,
because he is stacked at the wide receiver position. I do like Glenn's team, but I just hope that he can manage around it. Yeah. Nonetheless,
it looks like Glenn has some good upside of some trades later on in the season, or even now. With even the quarterbacks and the depth that he has, seems like it would be a good opportunity.
But will he trade is the question. He's been quite reluctant in the past, but.
Does he know how to trade, Glenn?
We've got the Muncie Monstars, Mr. Taylor Highland, who, when you look at his team, you'll see why. But I played him in week 1, and he not only doubled my points, he doubled about half the league's points with about 140, which in this league, 140 is a huge number. And then the Dayton Doodles, oh my gosh, both these guys, these are my 2 losses, actually. So that's fun. That's fun. I do have to give credit to the Dayton Doodles. This is Thomas, his second year in the league, because it is probably one of my favorite team names, and the logo is just so fun. But
man,
every time I look at Taylor's team, and Taylor is up in Muncie, he is in his first year of residency, so it's a really good that his team is kind of set it. He kind of has a set it and forget it team right now, which is great because he's got a lot going on being up in that doctor life. I mean, Ibuka, he's pulling up points. Pitts is bound for a game at some point. He hasn't been super productive yet, but who else are you going to put there for available tight ends right now? Metcalf, hit or miss, but then Kyron, who you'd expect more, but it doesn't matter because he's got Bijan. And holy cow, what a workhorse. And then I am over the tush push, but I promise you he's not. And so Jalen Hurts against the Rams, I mean, they're hot right now, and I don't see that slowing down. This one for me is, it's easy for me. I'm going Muncie on this one.
Yeah. For both of these teams, there's a lot that I'm liking in Muncie's. Mbuka has been, I'm going to put this is week 3. I'm going to put a week 3 announcement that he's rookie of the year. I mean, easily one of the better performers that we've seen. He's got depth, Robinson, Hurts, a lot of good stuff here. I think with Metcalf at Pittsburgh, I think he's kind of on the tail end of his tenure within the league. But I'm going to tell you what, I am actually going to go with the Dayton Doodles because I am hopeful for Jacksonville turning it around. And the fact that he has the Lawrence Thomas stack, I think is going to pay off pretty well for him this week.
Yeah, I don't hate that call. It's hard when you see a lineup like this. But we are once again, this is fun having 4 predictions because we are split decision right down the middle. We've got myself. Seb is going with the Monsters on this, with Muncie on this one, and you and Aaron are the Doodle Dudes this week. All right.
Doodles for the win.
So, arguably, and you know both of these two very well as well, Mr. Brandon Magner, a former season ticket holder with us, out 1-1, and then Peyton Bennett with the Tarkington Crawdaddies, who have been, if there is a team to watch out for this year, it's the Tarkington Crawdaddies, in my opinion. And before we even get into it, I'm going Daddies on this one. So, I'll give this to you across the board because when you look at Peyton's team, it is a scary team. It's not, and it's a scary team with some depth. And when Josh Allen, especially in this league, when you can get over 20 points consistently from your quarterback, I mean, it got it got Keegan two championships in 3 years, and you can't argue those numbers. So along with on the flip side, the one other thing I'd say is I don't love Brandon's RB2 and wide receiver 2 and flex all feel like they low ceiling, low floor. And that's just really that's hard to get over with Terry McLaurin, Travion Henderson, and Travis Hunter. You'd hope, and maybe to your point, you'd like to see Jacksonville do better. But there's a lot of mouths to feed. It feels like there's no one star on that Jacksonville team. Lawrence is going to have to spread out the love a little bit. So, but I'll call it early. It's daddies for me, and I think the Crawdaddies might be the daddy of the year. Daddy of the year,
you can't argue with the Josh Allen. It's like having a cheat code on any league. I feel like my take here is with Peyton. Yeah, there's just too much depth here, and in looking at his bench, another maybe a spoiler alert for those teams that might be on the struggle bus. There's some potential trades up there. Oh, and he's got a uke, man.
Yeah. No, he had a great draft day.
Yeah, he did.
That being said, both of our. So are you going daddies on this one? Crawdaddies themselves?
Definitely.
Yeah. And this is, once again, we have had no 75 percenters. We've been split decision or unanimous at this point because we are all going Crawdaddies on this one. Peyton, I look forward to having you on the cast here in a couple of weeks or whenever, because it's going to be a fun one to hear. This is the best start that Peyton's ever had in this league, and we'll see. All right, it is time, and you may recall us calling this out, but our matchup of the week is the Asheville Amphetamines versus Conkamilati, which is Seb's team. And yes, we're making this matchup of the week because Seb is not here to defend himself. So take that, you absent-minded child. Asheville Amphetamines versus Conkamilati. What do you like here? I'm going to stay quiet for a second and let you just take in these two teams.
Cam in New York has been just cool to watch. I think he's going to develop here pretty well. Ladd is obviously going to be a workhorse for him, but I don't see this pulling out a victory. I know I have some bias because I am talking to a brother from another mother, but when I look at Drake London, who's due for a real big game, he's had some good numbers, but not the near that he has the last couple of years. And then JSN, I mean, dude is just on fire, continuing to be. The fact that DK is out from Seattle. Blake, though, I will say Pacheco, man, I've got him in one of my other leagues, and I'm feeling the pain that you are feeling, which is just like, ouch. Why did I think he was going to do well?
I feel the same way because I took him in 2 leagues. 2 of my 3 leagues, I took him, and I am regretting that choice. I'm giving him one. I mean, partially, I have to give him another chance because there's not a lot else available. I will say, and for me, in the back of my mind, Rachaad White had a great week last week, not even being saved by a touchdown alone. If he is gonna, there is talk of him maybe taking over, getting closer to 50-50 share with Bucky Irving, or maybe even overtaking him and being RB1. That's kind of that, or get into the trade portal is where, luckily, I feel very comfortable with CMC and ETN, which both of them felt like a roll of the dice for myself.
Yeah. Here's another observation. I didn't see it before. Here's what I'm going to say. I'm putting my vote for you, Blake. But I think whoever scores more points between CMC and Saquon is going to win.
I think that's a totally fair. I would even argue if you combine, and this is not a hot take, but like between Caleb Williams and CMC versus Drake May and Saquon, 2 questionable quarterbacks point wise. Yep. Versus 2 powerhouses. If the average of those 2 in my mind wins this game, but for me, and I just have to keep the trend up because they both went with Seb. Of course, Seb went with himself, that ego-stroking maniac, and Aaron, who I think he's upset because we didn't podcast yesterday and he's not on this week. I'm not sure, but and yeah, I don't care if you have bias because if you recall, I think in the past years when you've come on. If anything, I think you'd have probably just as much ammo to pick against me. So I think Drake London is going to be my wild card this week. That I do, but I still agree with what we said about what we're saying about that RB1 spot is what's going to probably decide this one. So yeah, I like the average that you commented. The average between QB and RB1 it makes a lot of sense. I think those 2 are gonna
outshine. I would also
Yeah.
be interested in seeing if they outscore the rest of the team. I think
Yeah,
there's that
yeah.
possibility too, right?
I do too. I'm very curious to see how this plays out for Seb. The two tight end look. Trey McBride going up against San Francisco, who have been fair on defense and can shut down Trey McBride potentially with Kyler Murray, is still kind of in that weird limbo spot of not really having an identity as a quarterback, I feel like. And Travis Kelce, who has frankly been unproductive this year. I mean, well, the Chiefs, yeah, it is what it is. All right, I think that is any last thoughts? How about all of it? These are our teams. That's all our matchups. Jake, we appreciate you being here. Anything that you want to share with the league here? Yeah.
I mean, Blake, again, just it's been an honor to be on this, this stage in front of some daddies. The teams that I see, they're all good-looking teams.
Except
good-looking
Keegan's.
names. Except for
Keegan's and Chris's.
Keegan and Chris's, they could do better. But I think it's been fun analyzing it again this year, and most certainly there's a lot of potential with almost every single team. So I think there's still hope for many.
Yeah, and well, thank you so much for being here, Jake. We are over. Your work's over. Our work day is over, and this is how we're ending our Fridays. Sorry for the late Friday call, but we do appreciate it here at the Draft Daddy Fantasy League. We're gonna have to get you. We'll get you. You need to be taken care of well, because you are our official outsider ambassador, I think, of the league. Oh yeah, he's showing. I got him a coaster for being in the past.
I use it every day.
Jake, thank you for coming on today. Daddies, I love you. We love you. Jake, any last words?
I appreciate you, daddies. Keep up the good work. Work the waiver wires. Put in some trades. Go Bears. Go Cubs.
From Aaron Zitch himself, love you, Daddy.
I've got those 0-2 blues. No, there ain't no excuse for the way we've been playing. But man, I'm just saying, if these injuries haunt me, sabotaging my game, and they're leaving me stranded in that despair, that shame, it's just in his first and oh, I fucking whack. I'm just praying, oh, Dobbins, come back, oh, come back, baby. Still, I refuse to lose. Refuse to lose. 0-2 blues. What's up, man? Hey, we coming back. Watch out.